and welcome back to our YouTube channel. As you can see, me and my father made this beautiful DIY custom banana desk. So let me tell you the story. It'll be very short, no worries. On my birthday, I wanted a desk because my old planned desk was not good enough. So we went on Amazon and we found a desk. We thought we were gonna buy it. But then my father or me, I don't know, we both had an idea. Instead of actually buying one, we can make one. And even better than a wooden one, we can color it and make it into a banana. And we did some of our own touches. We made a border too, and put some shelves and made it very nice. And we made a design here and here. We'll tell you more of the details later in the video, but that's it, I think.
So we built this desk out of 1 4x8 plywood, and we designed it on a spreadsheet. Here's the purchase at Home Depot. And we cut it in half here. That's just showing you what it is. And we stuck this paper up on our workbench so we knew what the measurements were. Here we just measured it and started to cut, and we used a straight edge to make sure it was perfect. Here we're making straight cuts on the edges. And here are all of the finished cuts. And then we started off with the second part, with our second piece of plywood. Same thing, measuring up and straight edge cutting. So we eventually finished the bottom part of all the cuts. And here we're using pocket holes, and we set them to 3/4 inch. And this is the jig. And here we start making pocket holes for all of the pieces that we need to. And if you want to reference back to the picture on the spreadsheet, the white holes are the same pocket holes that we drilled in. Every time we finished one of the pocket holes, we put it back into place, so to keep organized. And now we're done. Now we're just laying it. We missed pocket holes on one of the sides, so we had to re-drill that later on. So we're drilling the pocket holes here, but soon we realized we weren't even doing it on the right side. So here's what we thought was the finished product. Here it is again. Here's us doing it. No, here's us realizing that we actually did it the wrong side. So my dad had to re-drill it on the right side.
We have this bottom plate, and what we're gonna do, we have these 3 supports, like one like this, and we're going to put it on the right side, the middle, and the left side, and we're gonna use this angler clamp to clamp this down and so now we're gonna put this vertical support in the middle right here. So in order to do that, we're gonna measure it with this. So we're just gonna leave this middle plank there for now. And we're just going to put this vertical support right here and glue and screw it in.
On the vertical piece, side pocket holes are needed on the top only. Bottom side holes are a mistake. And the bottom side pocket holes can be turned into a feature by adding a back support, only if needed though.
This is going to be the support of our shelf here, and it's going to go right about here. Yeah. And now we're just going to glue and screw it in once more. So we're going to put this in as we attach the support.
Here we're making sure that the middle shelf shows straight. And this is about where I left, so we put wood glue, and then we proceed to use an angler clip, which you'll see in the next frame, for the table right support. Here's us using the angler clamp and drilling in the nails, screws. And here's the table support. And it's going to fit in right next to the table right support. And here we tried out a dry fit, just checking everything out. And this was one of our mistakes. We should have just cut it like the shape that we wanted to, instead of making a smaller piece and just like putting it in. It was really weak. And that's how it looked as a drier fit. For the borders of the desk, we decided to put oak wood on the front side because oak is known for being a little bit of more hardwood. And for the back sides, which really didn't matter as much, we used pine wood, which is known to be a softwood. Here we're just dry fitting it almost, making sure everything's aligned. And when you do this, you really want to make sure it's aligned. So we measure, we cut, and then we put it all together. And we're kind of doing this on the go. So what I mean by that is that we use the wood and then we measure it out on the spot of how much it needs to be, and then we cut it. As you can see, that's what we did here. We used one of our longer strips to measure it, for that's the sole purpose of that, and we put it all together. So here we brung up the desk to paint it. Our color is the one on the rightmost. It's a light yellow tint, and we used Sherwin-Williams paint. So first we put it out, and then we got to painting. So this is the first coat. So we started off with a brush, and we realized that was a bit harder than we expected, so we moved on to a paint roller, and we got the job done much quicker. There's my sister helping out. And she chose all the paints by herself. It was completely her choice. So that yellow tint that you saw, that was all her. And here we did some more gluing, and we used Kills primer to here's us putting primer on the thinner plywood that we put on the side of the desk later on. Here's it again. And this is us sanding. Now we're sanding the plywood, the thinner piece. And then we started sanding the inner sides of the desk, also the whole desk in its entirety. Sanding again the tabletop. Here's us putting the wood putty, and if you cut it the right way, you don't need to attach it and put wood putty like we did. And here's us sanding the wood putty after and painting it again. This is the second coat. And then we painted the table's right support. And now we second coated the bottom frames. And this is one of the colors that my sister shows. She liked this red tint for some odd reason, but we did it anyways. And here we're applying a polyurethane coat for a smoother finish on our desk. And it makes it look pretty shiny. Plus, we only did this on the right side because we wanted to do some art on the tabletop, which turned out to be bananas. Here's a close-up of my sister drawing a banana. And this is the paint that she used to color in the bananas. For the edges, they used a traditional brush, and they used a foam brush for the filling, but later on they realized it was too much work, so they just filled it in as is with the huge foam brush. Here it is with the traditional brush coloring in the stems. Here we're finishing off with the bananas. And she's putting her signature on the table. Here we're applying the first coat of polyurethane after the bananas were done. And we use this to sand it off. And this is the second coat of polyurethane on the tabletop. And that looks pretty shiny to me. And here we're resanding it once more. And that's all the polyurethane dust. This is our third coat of polyurethane, and it's slippery smooth. So we use Gorilla Glue for the borders on this, and to apply Gorilla Glue you have to dampen the edge first. But we used this because it was stained wood, otherwise we probably wouldn't have done it. And we used a nail gun to make sure it was sturdy. Same thing, Gorilla Glue. We had to cut one of the wood pieces because we were a little bit too long on it. And this is us putting in that wood piece. Once again, nail gunning it. And here is where the sanding starts. So we just sand off the edges so they're not as sharp. And here we started spackling to fill in the gaps. As you can see, it starts out pink, but when it dries off, it turns to white. We filled all the nail holes in. And after it dries, we start to sand. As you can see, the spackle turned white. Here we are cleaning whatever remains came off from the spackle. And nail gunning it once more for the middle piece. And all the nail holes have been filled with that white spackle. Here we're moving the table onto the workbench, and we're using frog tape to repaint the sanded edges and spackle. We didn't want it to get on any of the tabletop, so we put it everywhere, including the table right support. And here we're painting it once more. And now we measured and cut the small side of the plywood, and we used painter tapes so we didn't get splinters. And we repainted the edges. For this one too. And here comes the satisfying part. I would say it came out pretty clean. Here we're putting another coat of polyurethane. And we put a coat of polyurethane on this plywood too. and we're almost done. This is how it looks so far. It's actually pretty shiny in real life, and as you can see, it's pretty shiny on camera as well. So here we had a 2-inch template, and this is for the plywood. So basically our goal was to have a 2-inch on the top and a 2-inch on the bottom, and here it's 1 inch on the right and 1 inch on the left. So we want it perfectly centered, so we put some frog tape just to measure, mark. And we also used Gorilla Glue once again, because we are putting this onto stained wood, which doesn't stick as well with wood glue. And we put all of the borders with wood glue. And here goes in the first plywood. And we carefully put this. We didn't really want to mess this up, because if we did, there's no going back. And we didn't really know how to clamp this, so we used two 2x4s. One's a little bit smaller, as you can see, and we used a 23-pin nail gun to put it in. So here we put some packaging foam. So here we're repeating the same process on the other side. We're gluing it. And as you can see, we're putting the cloth, and we tightly clamped it to the desk. So there are going to be some cloth marks that are barely visible, but just to put it out there, they were there. You can kind of see them in this clip. And here is us putting it in my sister's room. And we kept it 2 pieces because it was easier to move into the room. Plus, if we ever wanted to take it out, we can just do that pretty easily. And now we just screwed it in. We did not put glue in though, because that would have been harder to take out.
So this tabletop support, or this piece, was supposed to go right here to support this tabletop, but we realized later on that it might not be necessary because we have these pieces supporting the desk, and also that, a little sliver of that. So tell us in the comments if you think we should put it in, because it might not be needed. It's probably not needed, but the point is, if you want to, that's an option as well for the stability of the desk. And we got the design off of Wayfair or Amazon. I don't remember where we looked it up, but we kind of just improvised along the way with the borders and this plank right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
And this is the finished product. If you liked our content, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.